Hi, I'm Mark, and today we need to talk about the chaos that Nicola Sturgeon has just caused in Scotland with her, sudden retirement. In the wake of Nicola Sturgeon's departure, two SNP MPs in particular are in contention to succeed her: a hapless immigrant child and a reactionary evangelical. Just over a week after she announced her resignation as Scottish First Minister, the reasons for Nicola Sturgeon's abrupt decision are becoming increasingly clear. Wrong political decisions and questionable developments come to light that have made governing increasingly difficult for the experienced politician. Above all, her worst omission was revealed because she left the party political succession unclear. A violent slap and sting is now starting in the Scottish National Party, the SNP. When the registration deadline passed at midday on Friday, it was clear 3 members of the Edinburgh Parliament are going into the 4-week race for the chair of the SNP, which, according to previous practice, entails the job of First Minister. Health Minister Hamza Yousaf is the new favourite. He is a son of a Pakistani immigrant, studied politics, and has been a Member of Parliament since 2011. Scotland's Conservative and Social Democrat opponents attack the minister as useless. Well, the word useless is used even in the SNP to corrupt Yousaf's name. Although I've known the pun for a long time, for a Tory, I must say. In fact, the NHS is doing at least as badly as it does in England and Wales, and Yousaf has not covered himself in glory in previous government jobs either. The so-called continuity candidate, who likes to pose in a kilt and a South Asian-inspired jacket, enjoys the favour of the party leadership around Sturgeon and her husband Peter Murrell. He has been SNP General Secretary for 24 years. A conflict of interest, as the second candidate Ash Regan finds. An investigation is underway against Murrell because of an initially concealed party donation of the equivalent of €121,960, and this may also be a reason for Sturgeon's abrupt resignation. Regan promises change, not at least a departure from the highly controversial transgender law that contributed to Sturgeon's case because of its high tolerance. Regan had resigned as Secretary of State for Justice in order to be able to vote against the government bill in Parliament. The law was blocked by British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak in January, with polls showing support in Scotland. Sturgeon faced the case of a convicted rapist who was briefly committed to a women's prison under the self-classification sanctioned by the SNP Institute. The third candidate, Treasury Secretary Kate Forbes, is particularly at odds. She's regarded as the greatest talent in government work, but her worldview has attracted severe criticism. The member of an evangelical free church believes sex outside marriage is just as wrong as abortions. She is said to have voted against marriage for all in Parliament in 2014. Of course, she will defend the applicable laws she asserts. I firmly believe in the inherent dignity of every human being, she said. Sturgeon criticizes Forbes for being behind the progressive majority opinion, as they put it. But in her 16 years in government responsibility, she also ensured that the SNP was trimmed from old-fashioned to progressive. But LGBTI activists are concerned about this group of candidates. Forbes, who is considered a favorite, is considered a bitter opponent of LGBTI rights because of her religious beliefs, while Regan speaks out in favor of gay rights but against trans rights. Only Yousaf has been a supporter of equal treatment for queer people for years. The Scottish National Party is actually considered queer-friendly. The main concern of the party, which was part of the Green Group in the European Parliament before Brexit, is independence from London. A relative majority of 28% of SNP voters support Forbes, according to a poll released on Friday. Yousaf and Regan only get 20% each. Yousaf had previously been traded as the favourite. However, almost a third of those surveyed stated that they had not yet formed an opinion on either candidate. Forbes, as I said, an evangelical Christian, said just a few days ago that she would have voted against equal treatment for gays and lesbians in marriage law if she had been an MSP when they voted. She named Angela Merkel as a role model, who also voted against the opening of marriage in Germany in 2017. However, Forbes also emphasized that she does not intend to reintroduce the marriage ban for same-sex couples. In addition, Forbes is considered a bitter opponent of trans rights. She explained that a trans woman is a biological man who identifies as a woman. She was also an opponent of the Self-Determination Act. She repeatedly offends with other religiously motivated positions as well. Her statement that, as I mentioned, sex before marriage and also having children before marriage is wrong caused people to shake their heads. However, she does not want to pass any laws against premarital sex. That's at least what the politician emphasized. And Ash Regan also opposes rights for trans people. She even resigned from her ministry in October 22 in protest at the Self-Determination Act. If she wins the election, trans people would not be given self-determination. That's what she clarified. However, she also stated that she has no problems with the so-called marriage for everyone. On the other hand, Humza Yousaf, a practicing Muslim, is considered queer-friendly, as I said. The political scientist, who has been a member of the Scottish Parliament since 2011, emphasized in interviews that he does not make political decisions based on his religious beliefs. He had supported both the Marriage for All and the Self-Determination Act. Yousaf is also considered a close confidant of Sturgeon. However, Yousaf was also criticized for missing the 2014 vote on marriage for everyone. The openly gay MSP Wes Streeting from the Labour Party, which competes with the SNP, slammed Yousaf. Where were you when the fight for equality was being fought and won? Yousaf defended himself on British broadcaster ITV, saying he was Scottish Foreign Secretary at the time and had an important appointment. I was at the Pakistani consulate because a Scottish citizen in Pakistan was threatened with a death penalty for blasphemy, he said. In a preliminary vote on Marriage for All, Yousaf did indeed vote with yes. The members of the governing party SNP will decide in a primary election now. Voting among party members begins on March 13th. The result will be announced 2 weeks later. The winner is determined using the preferential voting system. This means that the voters can put the candidates first, second, and third. And the winner must then achieve a majority. If the first preference votes do not result in an absolute majority, the second preference vote of the last placed person will be added. So it is a little bit more complicated, but could spare them another round of voting with just two candidates then. So you can discuss about this, which is better, to have a second round with just two top candidates or with this preferential vote. I leave it up to you. Maybe you want to say something about this in the comments. But the problem is that nobody mentions really at the moment is, at least in all what I can read here in Germany, nobody really talks about the independence part that should have been decided in March on the party conference. I will sometime make a general political video again, either here or on my Political 101 channel. I'm not absolutely sure about this, about the way those Scottish independence referendum can work at all and why it's not working at the moment. And but we will have to talk about the new First Minister when we finally know what the path of any kind of attempt for independence will be with a winner. I do not know clearly from either of them what that would look like after this sudden change in leadership. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.